Turn your ears to me, O Lord, and listen. Open your eyes, O Lord, and see. Daniel 9:18. Today we are invited to reflect on the immense potential that resides within each of us to unleash the blessings that God has already prepared. In times of uncertainty and challenges, it is easy to lose sight of divine generosity. However, by opening our hearts, we can allow these gifts to manifest in our lives. Often what prevents us from receiving is our own lack of faith. When we recognize that blessings do not depend on our ability, but on God's goodness, we begin to experience an internal transformation. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32 reminds us that understanding God's love frees us from doubts and insecurities, enabling us to embrace all that He has to offer. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times you have felt trapped by your own limitations? It is an invitation for us to look beyond what is right in front of us and recognize what we already have in our hands. By releasing these blessings, we not only receive them but also become instruments of love and generosity for those around us. In this moment, I invite you to prepare to open your heart to receive the blessings that are already waiting for you. What can you release today so that more blessings can flow into your life and the lives of those around you? Often our view of blessings is limited by our own challenges and uncertainties. It is understandable that in the face of difficulties, we may feel discouraged and even question God's generosity. However, the Word teaches us that by acknowledging the truth about ourselves and about Him, we are freed from the chains that bind us. The passage in John reminds us that, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." John 8:32. This truth invites us to see the blessings that already surround us. When we have faith and are willing to believe in God's promises, we find the freedom to act. Understanding divine love helps us overcome fears and insecurities, allowing blessings to flow into our lives. Often, we feel trapped by our own limitations and doubts, but the truth frees us to embrace all that He has to offer. If we allow ourselves to look at our lives with gratitude and hope, we will realize that even amidst challenges, God always provides us with opportunities and resources. It is essential to remember that blessings are not just for us, but for us to share. The love we receive should transform into actions that touch the lives of others. When we release our blessings, even if they seem small, we contribute to a cycle of generosity that reflects God's character. Often the hesitation to share what we have comes from the fear that it will not be enough. However, the truth is that in giving, we find true fulfillment which goes far beyond the material. When we talk about releasing our blessings, it is important to reflect on how this applies to our daily lives. In a world filled with individualism and competition, we are challenged to be sources of love and generosity. The passage from John reminds us that the truth will set us free, and this truth inspires us to act with love and compassion. When we recognize that everything we have is a gift from God, we can shed our selfishness and open our hearts to others. Have you ever wondered how you can be a channel of blessings in someone else's life? Sometimes a simple gesture of kindness or a word of encouragement can make all the difference. What seems small to us can be a great blessing to another person. When we are willing to share what we have, even if it is just a little of our time or attention, we are releasing the blessings that God has placed in our hands. At this moment, I invite you to reflect on how you can open your heart and hands to release blessings. How about thinking of someone who needs a gesture of love today? Be attentive to the opportunities that God places in your path. By doing this, you will not only bless others, but you will also allow yourself to be blessed in ways you may have never imagined. May we together live this truth and experience the freedom that comes from releasing our blessings. Lord, at this moment, I come to you with an open and sincere heart. I recognize that many times I have been led by insecurities and doubts, forgetting the blessings that have already been poured out over my life. I ask for forgiveness for all the times I have not fully trusted in your generosity and for hesitating to share what I have. May I learn to release what is in my heart, just as your word teaches us in John 8:32, where the truth sets us free. I thank you, Lord, for the blessings I have already received and for those yet to come. Each new day is an opportunity to see your hand at work in my life. Thank you for health, for family, for friends, and even for the challenges, which have been instruments of growth. May I never lose sight of the small daily gifts that often go unnoticed, but are signs of your love. Help me to open my eyes to recognize the blessings that are around me. At this moment, I make a plea, asking that you help me to be a channel of blessings for others. May I see the needs around me and act with compassion. Sometimes I feel so caught up in my own concerns that I forget to look at those who are struggling. Lord, inspire me to be generous even when it seems that what I have is little. May I remember the widow who, with her last coins, released an act of faith and trust in you, Mark 12:41-44. I offer, Lord, all that I am and all that I have. May my life be a testament to your generosity. Help me to share what I receive, whether it be time, love, or resources. May I not hesitate to extend a hand to those in need, even if it costs me something. May each gesture of mine reflect your kindness, and may I be an example of love in a world that often lacks it. I also ask, Lord, for those who are facing difficulties. Many are struggling with loneliness, unemployment, or health issues. May I be a support for them, offering not just words of encouragement, but also actions that make a difference. May I not close myself off in my own pain, but find strength in you to help those around me. May I always remember that in serving others, I am serving you. Finally, Lord, may I live in gratitude and in freedom. The truth that liberates teaches us to trust in your provision. May I surrender my fears and insecurities into your hands, knowing that you take care of me. May every blessing I release in my life also return to me multiplied. For I know that in giving I am following the example of Christ, who gave himself out of love for all of us. Amen. The story I would like to share is about the widow who, upon entering the temple, offered her last coins. This passage, found in Mark 12, verses 41-44, teaches us a powerful lesson about generosity and trust in God. When Jesus observed the rich putting in large amounts into the treasury, he also saw the widow who, in her poverty, put in 2 small coins. To many, this might seem insignificant, but to Christ, it was an act of faith and surrender. It is fascinating how, in a world that values what is grand and abundant, this woman shows us that the value of an offering is not in the quantity, but in the intention of the heart. She released her blessings, even when it seemed she had little to offer. Amid her difficulties, the widow teaches us the importance of trusting in God, even in times of scarcity. Often, we are led to believe that we need to have more in order to share. However, this story challenges us to reconsider our priorities. When we look at this widow, we can see that she not only gave what she had, but also expressed her faith in God and her willingness to trust that He would take care of her needs. This leads us to reflect on how many times we hesitate to be generous, fearing that what we have is not enough. Like the widow, we are invited to release what we have, no matter how small it may seem in the eyes of the world. When we act this way, we are making room for God's blessings to flow in our lives and in the lives of others. This story is especially relevant at a time when many are facing financial, emotional, or spiritual difficulties. It is easy to feel discouraged and believe that we do not have enough to help. However, the message of the widow reminds us that every act of generosity, no matter how small, can have a significant impact. When we share with an open heart, we may be the answer to someone's prayers who is in need. Moreover, the widow challenges us to look at what we can do, rather than focusing on what we lack. It is an invitation for us to be proactive in our generosity, even if what we have seems little. Often, a simple gesture, a word of encouragement, or even our time can turn into powerful blessings in another person's life. Just like the widow who released her last coins, we are called to trust that God will multiply our actions and give us what we need. Finally, this story reminds us that by releasing our blessings, we not only help others, but we also become part of a cycle of love and generosity that reflects the essence of Christ. May we, like the widow, learn to trust in God and share what we have, even if it seems small. By doing this, we open our hearts to receive even more in our lives, knowing that God is faithful to His promises. May we be inspired to live this truth, releasing our blessings and being a channel of love for those around us. Generosity, even in its simplest form, is a powerful expression of God's love in action. By following the example of the widow, may we always be reminded that everything we have is a gift, and that true wealth lies in our hearts and in our willingness to give. The message we reflect on today invites us to open our hearts and hands to release the blessings that God has already prepared for us. Often we forget that generosity and gratitude are pathways that lead us to profound experiences of love and connection. As we look at the story of the widow, we are reminded that regardless of our circumstances, we always have something to offer. Every act of kindness, no matter how small it seems, is a seed that can bear abundant blessings. Today I challenge you to reflect on how you can be a channel of blessings in someone else's life. Think of a generous act that can transform not just another person's day, but also your own. May we commit to releasing what we have, trusting that God will take care of us just as He did with the widow. Remember, when we give, we receive in double, for generosity is the purest expression of love. May the peace and joy of the Lord be with you. May He bless your actions and open doors of opportunity in your life. At the end of this video, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel and leave your like so that more people can be touched by this message. Share it with someone who needs to hear that it is possible to release blessings even in difficult times. Now in the comments, tell us, how have you been releasing your blessings in the lives of others? Your story can inspire others to also become channels of love and generosity. May God richly bless you.